Hello.
Hi.
So could you introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Tim Smith. I am the Executive Director of Community Greenhouse Partners.
So basically you have bought Lithuanian church.
I did.
And you are now having urban agriculture farm here.
Correct.
So could you explain what is urban agriculture? As in Lithuania, it's pretty much a known concept.
Sure. So, especially here in America, most people think of food production and farming as being a rural activity. That's something that happens out in the country. It doesn't happen inside of a city. But what we're doing is showing that any space could be used to grow food. And we're trying to teach the importance of eating food that's produced locally. It's for health reasons, for transportation reasons, for accessibility reasons. The idea is that you grow the food and it's right there and you eat it when it's still incredibly fresh, instead of growing it in California, which is 2,000 miles away, and it takes a week for stuff to get here from there. The week that food travels, it loses its essence. It loses its nutritional value. It's not nearly as healthy for you as it was when it was first picked. So by having freshly picked food that was something that was picked today, that you cook and eat today, is far more better for you than buying stuff that was brought in from way outside. And so by teaching people how to do this, it's creating food independence. It gives people an opportunity to get away from the corporate food system and produce food for themselves and their neighbors.
So what kind of food are you producing in the former churchyard?
So we currently have, long list, tomatoes, peppers, lettuce, kohlrabi, kale, collard greens. The tomatoes, we have 15 different styles of tomatoes. Cherry tomatoes, sauce tomatoes, big slicing tomatoes. We have 6 different kinds of hot peppers. We've got sweet bell peppers. We've got 2 kinds of paprika peppers. We're growing, let's see, we have bees making honey. We have chickens, and we use their eggs. We have, what else? We've got fruit trees out front. We have apples, Asian pears, plums, peaches. We're growing green beans and squash, and I mean, just a lot.
So what are your plans for the church building itself? How do you use it and how do you plan to
So currently we're just using it for storage. It's an empty storage space. We get lots of donations of stuff. People will give us a pallet of drywall or large, amounts of styrofoam insulation and stuff. So we'll store it in the church before we find a way to use it. Long term, we have it's a $2.5 million plan. It's going to cost us $2.5 million to put in a full service grocery store where we'll be selling our products, plus we'll bring in products that we didn't grow but other local farmers have. So it'll be a local grocery store to meet the needs of the local community. We're going to put in a commercial kitchen in the basement where we can teach people how to use the vegetables that we're growing and also use it to make value-added products. So like we can take our tomatoes and make salsa or spaghetti sauce or chutney or whatever. We can use the peppers and make, pickle them and do things like that. So we hope that's the basement will be a commercial kitchen and teaching area. And then the sanctuary up top will be a community space where groups can come in and use it for meetings or receptions or whatever.
So usually when we tell locals where we are going and at this hour in this district, we get a reply, what are you doing there?
Right.
I mean, it's extremely dangerous. So what are your relations with the community? How do they often offer to volunteer?
So
how do you manage these relations?
So it's interesting. We are still considered outsiders by a lot of the people in this local neighborhood. You know, we don't fit the mold of what the rest of the neighborhood is. The rest of the neighborhood is poor. The rest of the neighborhood is mostly African American, though there's some Hispanic and some Asian folks that live in the neighborhood. And if they don't fall into those categories, then they are really old Lithuanian Croatians who have been living here for 80 years. Or bikers who live at there's a Hells Angels house right by the street. A bike gang lives at the end of the street. So we don't fit any of those models. That being said, we have a really good relationship with the little church that's across the street. We do have individual relationships with some of our neighbors. There are groups, the church, the Hells Angels, there's a women's organization that one of our neighbors runs, and they know that they can use the lot for whatever they want. They can, if they want to have an event, or they do a food distribution once a month to give food to the homeless and the hungry, and they use our parking lot and back, and that's fine, and we welcome any kind of use in that. And we've got some young people in the neighborhood who come by and are trying to learn how to be gardeners and trying to understand what it is that they're actually getting curious about what we're doing, and they're trying to learn. And that's really what I'm most happy about, is the fact that we've got young, like teenagers and early 20s people who just they've lived here all their lives. They've watched us appear and then grow. You know, we've expanded our operations. We've added things every year. We're doing more and more every year. And so they're getting curious about what we're doing. And so they're coming over and starting to learn, which is really what we're about, is teaching people how to do this themselves.
So how many there are such volunteers that help you?
I currently have, there's 5 people who live here in the house that are all students. Because we're officially we are a nonprofit educational organization that teaches people how to be urban farmers. So we have 5 interns that live here and work and help run things and actually help teach. And then we have a 15, 20 volunteers, 5 from the neighborhood, 5, the rest are from like college students from Cleveland State University or Case Western Reserve University. And then we've got relationships with a whole bunch of organizations who send large groups. Like there's 3 fraternities, the social men's organizations that come here to work once a month. And they stay and work for 6 hours and do big projects for us and things like that.
Do you feel safe in this district?
Absolutely. We've never had a problem here. Never had a problem. You don't want problems to happen, but we pretty much, you know, we're open. You know, we're transparent. Anybody who comes by and asks what we're doing, we tell them. The police know us, and they know us really well, and they like us because we're a stable, calm influence on the neighborhood. We work with veterans groups. We found that you can use agriculture as a way to treat post-traumatic stress disorder, which is a huge problem in America now. And that by literally putting your hands in the dirt, you calm down. It pulls stress out of your body. And we find that when we're working with kids, especially hyperactive kids, they calm down, they settle down. Once we get them working in the dirt and get them doing things, and we try to make it fun, we try to make it interesting. You know, we're teaching, but we're also entertaining in a way. And in doing that, we're able to have a better reach and a better rapport with the people that we're working with.